You're listening to the double-sized anniversary episode number 25 of Fresh Floppies. I think I said flesh.
You did.
Fresh Floppies. Cut. Take 5. No. What?
Shut down, give up the fight. What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Geek Nation? You're currently tuning in to Fresh Floppies, a podcast by Noel and JD, wherein we talk about some of the floppies or single issues that came out today, Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, but spoiler-free so that you don't have to worry about having things ruined for you. You'll just be a little bit more prepared when you go into your local comic shop.
That's right.
To make your purchasing choices.
That's right. The intention is for you to come educated.
Yes.
To come with an opinion, to be a sponge for the metaphor is broken.
It fell apart.
It's totally
you
broken.
Just crumpled.
I mean, I probably could cut this out, but why?
Why would you do that? Let's start with The Cull #1 from Image Comics from one of my favorite writers, Kelly Thompson, with art by Mattia de Iulis and Hassan Atsamani El How. I'm so sorry about that. First of all, the presentation is gorgeous. The cover. Do you have the same cover I do?
Yeah.
The purple, where she's just staring at the viewer.
Yeah, this is
hauntingly.
The one by Mattia.
Oh my gosh. It's a good looking book. It's got nice cover stock. It's thick. It feels thicker than your usual comic book.
The presentation is quite nice. It's not full on cardstock, but it's also not the same heavy. It's at the same weight as the interior pages, which themselves are glossy and pretty thick. This is a good book. This has the same build as Black Cloud. What's her other
Black
book?
Cloud. Black Shoot.
Black Shoot.
I forget.
It's the same. It's almost the same exact
presentation.
Build. Yeah.
This right off the bat, the most beautiful book this week, if not this year, if not this decade. I've never heard of Mattia de Iulis, but holy cats, my dude.
Black Cloak. Sorry.
Black Cloak. That's what it was. Thank you. Oh my god! It's stunning. I cannot believe the art in this book.
So I got some hot take. Well, yes, art is gorgeous.
It reminds me of Jesus Sayas, who just recently did the Jason Aaron Punisher run, which I love.
There are a couple of the facial acting is fantastic, but there's a couple there's like one or two shots that are a bit
dark,
Uncanny Valley.
Oh, really?
A little bit, but it's just wonderful all around, so it's not that big a deal. I assume he sometimes when the characters are talking, there's a concerted effort to make it look like they're talking, and then sometimes it looks a little odd. Other artists I don't think would go through the extra mile. So, but a lot of times when work is this hyper realistic, it looks stagnant. This doesn't look stagnant
at all.
No.
I thought you were leaning that way, and I was no, not for me.
No, because like I'll even contend that a lot of like early Alex Ross is just it's boring. Yeah. So a comic book artist to me is supposed to draw your eye from panel to panel. It's supposed to have emotion to it, and a lot of times when the artist goes way too realistic, it looks like still images, and it loses that kinetic energy for your eye. Yeah, this doesn't suffer from that.
No, not
at all. This is awesome. This is absolutely awesome.
And our story, without spoiling it, if I can, is seems to be a tale of missing children. So these different families are all missing, I believe, different kids, or is it just one kid? These teenagers are getting together in the middle of the night, middle of the morning, I guess, like 3 a.m.-ish, and they're telling their family that they're going to make a movie. But that's not quite what they're doing, and I don't want to spoil it, but I'm in.
It starts. First of all, this beach, this it's like Haystack Rock in the Pacific Northwest. The Goonies beach. Yeah, it looks like it, but they don't. It's Blackwater Beach. That's fictional. But the cold open is just that big old monsters show up and take some people, and that's that. And then you just flash forward to these kids going to film a movie on the same beach.
Yeah,
and
shit. But previously.
Happens. No.
Isn't it a flashback? This
No.
is now, and then 12 hours ago.
No, this is before.
And then now, and then 12 hours ago. So this is a prequel. The story that we're getting with the children.
So they're about to.
I have a feeling that yes. Yeah.
I thought it was.
Reminds me of, even the way it's illustrated, reminds me very much of The Mist. The Stephen King film starring the Punisher.
Oh, I missed that. I thought this was them like years later.
Nope.
Fucking around on that beach.
But
cool.
yeah, this is if I may, floppy AF. No, I always do that. Fresh AF.
It's fresh.
It's fresh, super fresh. The freshest. I'm super into this series. I'm already 100% down.
Yeah, this is really strong.
Highly recommend.
This is an excellent blind buy for anybody that's just like, oh, that cover's cool.
Yeah.
Just get it.
Yeah.
It's great.
You shan't regret.
I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with Kelly Thompson these days.
Right? She's so good.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. Uncanny Avengers from Marvel Comics also comes out today. Part of the Fall of X. That's right. By Jerry Duggan, with art by
Javier Garron.
That's right.
He was the main Avengers writer the main Avengers artist during the second half of Jason Aaron's run.
It's fine.
I really like his art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like his art. It's got a kind of Jeff Shaw playfulishness to it. It's not quite realistic, but also not too rubbery. I like his art. So I don't like that scene. But
this page with What is her name?
Psylocke.
Quanon.
Yeah. So this book. So we, for return listeners, we both read Hellfire Gala after years of not reading any X-Men.
I was blown away.
Floored by it.
Yeah.
And the question came up, okay, now what?
Yes.
What do I read now? So we've been sampling each new X book basically since then, trying to figure out where the threads are.
Yeah.
And Uncanny Avengers was like, oh, well, it's Duggan. So this must be...
He's the architect of what's going on right now in the X universe.
We read X-25, which I guess is also a continuation. I did not read Immortal X-Men. But here we have Uncanny X-Men. Or Uncanny Avengers. It's the return of the Unity Squad. Do you remember the Unity Squad?
I remember reading the first issue of the Unity Squad and then giving up. I did not care.
Rick Remender and John Cassidy. Uncanny Avengers. Yeah.
Did not care.
I have the omnibus. I read it all. It was wonderful.
Yeah, was it?
I mean, the back half of it was ramp up to an event that no one liked. Axis, if you remember that.
My God, I hated that.
I want to revisit it. I'll revisit it because I think it was just it feels like an event that was mismanaged, not poorly done. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah.
Like forcing everything to kind of fit into it as opposed to just being it should be during the book.
Yeah, I hated that.
There
was a lot of events during that era that I really didn't like
Fear
Itself, Original Sin.
I liked Original Sin a lot.
Oof.
Yeah, I liked Original Sin a lot.
But I love the idea. I like the idea of an Avengers team led by Captain America to include X-Men, so that it's a little bit white savior-y. Like, hey, I'm the Great White Hope. Hey,
it's a sapien savory. Saviory.
Saviory. Yeah.
Also sapien savory.
Very salty. It's basically like, hey, I'm Captain America. Everyone loves me. If you guys hang out with me, you'll be part of the cool kids group. But I also do wonder. He's got a lot of murderers on this team. He's got Quanon, who is Psylocke, who just uses ninja swords and also purple mind swords. And then, what is her name? Monet? Penance.
Penance, yeah.
Penance, super stabby. Deadpool, super shooty. Like, he's just got a lot of murderers on this team, and it feels a little strange that he would align himself with all of these people. Unless his goal is to, go back to the white savior thing. I won't let them kill everybody. By hanging out with me, maybe they'll be less murdery.
Well, I mean, so Cap doesn't have the same rules as some other superheroes. He is not anti-murder. He's just anti-needless violence.
That's true. He was a soldier.
Yeah. So that actually comes up in in here. Psylocke actually says, "I don't think I can stand any lectures about my methods. They killed hundreds and thousands of mutants." And his response is, "Then avenge them." He doesn't say don't. He doesn't say do. Just act accordingly, I guess. Yeah. And I really dug his little speech here about, "I have a little bit of experience fighting fascism."
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While I agree with your, it's a little off. It didn't bother me during the course of the story because Captain America does have a history of going rogue.
Yeah.
Against his the tyranny of his own nation at times, which I dig. I liked this book fine, but it read like a speed round of 4 other books. Like 90% of this book is recapping a bunch of other ones. While that's true. That is I know that's often like a first issue thing. It's just I've seen it done smoother. I've seen it like this is a pretty poor jumping on point for number 1.
You think?
I think so. Yeah. Like there's references to the Free Comic Book Day 4 months ago. There's references to something that all the Hellfire stuff before. There's references to Hoxpox. There's references to like it's this the first half of this book felt like homework.
It did, even though I knew most of it, except for the Captain Krakoa stuff, who has just a goofy ass costume. But I think this is an Avengers book, not an X book.
Yes.
Right? Just title alone. So I think the goal is to catch up everyone who's not reading an X book and is instead trying to read an Avengers book.
That's fair.
And then being like, I have no idea what's been going on in the X world. So I feel like, and the way that he does this with Ben Urich telling us,
the
he's
text
reporting.
Boxes changed color, and I'm like, oh, who's talking now? I had to go back at one point.
Yeah, the yellow text boxes are Ben Urich.
Who's the green?
Green? Flippin'. Oh, that's a good question. Shit, I don't know. The pit under the quiet.
Oh wait, is that blue?
Where the mutants hid the worst of their kind.
This is dead air. Yeah, I don't know who the bluish, tealish text boxes belong to.
Maybe that's an omnipotent narrator. Yeah, they don't really tell you.
It is omnipotent. Like,
yeah, just telling us everything.
If that's the case.
But I mean, this one at least I feel like I know what's going on in this issue. We've got the new Mutant Liberation Front, led by Captain Krakoa, who some people think is Scott, which obviously it's not.
Yeah.
Because he's doing dirt.
So that's the only thing. So if I was going to continue this book, which I might, that's the only thing I want to know.
Is like who Captain Krakoa is?
Who's Captain Krakoa? Because that's the cold open of this book. He was either woken up or recreated by Dr. Stasis, and I can't figure out who it is.
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, which to me is a pretty solid mystery. We find out at least at the end that he does have super strength because he's able to
break Captain America's arm,
twist it in half. Yeah, it was awesome. I was coming at it from an X book. You're right. As an Avengers book, it's a little bit more recappy, and that's totally fine. But as an X book, I feel like it's treading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's fresh enough.
I think so. I think fresh enough. It's not bad. It's just. Yes,
it's a good primer if you want to. If you have not been into the X-Men, this will tell you real quick.
That's it. Very true.
Continuing the X Corner, Fall of X Corner, Dark X-Men #1 came out this week as well, and this is by Steve Fox. There's 2 stories in this book. Both are written by Steve Fox. The first artist is Jonas Scharf, and the second is Nelson Daniel. And I don't know who this book is for. I picked it up because it's got the Madeline Pryor. What is her name? The Goblin Queen?
Yep.
And I'm, I would say fresh off because that was a while ago, but, the Dark Web miniseries that had Madeline Pryor and Ben Reilly, the Spider-Man clone, who now is called Chasm. And so I'm not quite sure what this is. This isn't quite the X-Men, and it's not X-Force, but it feels kind of like X-Force because it's all the more murdery sort of versions of the X-Folk. So I believe that this is an X-Men team that was put together before the fall of Krakoa, because these are all people who don't really jibe with what's going on Krakoa. They were sort of like, these are all outcasts from Krakoa who were like either felt suffocated by being there, or just weren't welcome. You know, they weren't gelling with everybody. So they're now living with Havoc and the Goblin Queen, Madeline Pryor, who, for anyone who doesn't know, is a clone of Jean Grey.
And she's in limbo, right?
Who's in limbo? She goes back and forth.
Limbo.
She runs limbo. Yeah, she's the queen of limbo, which is like a hell dimension. So, and you've got Azazel. She's got her own version of Cerebro, which she calls the Mercy Crown, which is like disgusting, and it's got a spine and everything.
Hot.
But then you've also got, remember that X-Men team from a couple years ago? They weren't quite X-Men. They were pretending to be X-Men. They were all a bunch of teenagers.
Oh yeah, Children of the Atom.
Children of the Atom. Yeah. They're involved here, and one of their parents finds out that she turns them into Orcus. So it's very much Germans in World War II era. I'm turning in people to fascism because I'm afraid. So it's dealing with some interesting stuff, but I'm still not quite sure what the book is. And I find that to be a problem. I don't know what the elevator pitch of this book is.
Is this zero issue kind of vibes? Like, okay, and
then?
Yeah.
And then the second story involves Havoc, and they're basically, I don't like this term, but I kept thinking it, cuck. Just the way that Havoc has been, who is Summers, who is Scott Summers' brother, trying to find his place, and he's very much just being used by the Goblin Queen.
Who's that artist in the second half? Remind me.
Daniel.
That's like cute art.
Nelson Daniel. Yeah, it's very much going through a week of his time here with the Dark X-Men, where we've got She-Hulk. I also don't know some of these X folks. Like there's Azazel, but then there's also this vampire character, whose name eludes me.
So, what? How many times does Ben Reilly show up?
Once.
Is it?
He shows up on one page, where she's like,
at him. There he is.
Yeah, there he is, looking all chasmy. Listen. He's in. I believe he's in. What's it called? Limbo. Mm-hmm. But he's just sitting on some rocks, looking out at the mountains. There's birds flying.
He's to wear his mask.
Wearing his full costume.
At least in I think it was the Amazing Spider-Man annual that featured, what's her name?
Madeline Pryor?
No.
Oh, Hallows Eve. Yeah.
At least he took his mask off.
Wife? Yeah.
His mask is off the whole time. He's just wearing the chasm suit, which is also a choice.
Yeah. Quick side note.
Yeah.
I'm always tickled by stories where characters are wearing their full superhero outfits for no reason. I'm always like, why are you doing that?
I imagine
literally anything.
You know what? I used to think that, and now that I work from home mostly,
yeah,
I wear gym clothes all the goddamn time.
Yeah, but none of those is a full face mask.
That's fair, but I mean, when you're work outfit, it's like, well, you know.
I didn't feel like getting changed.
Yeah, I might as well I'm just gonna change into my pajamas. I'm not gonna bother with an outfit in between. Yeah.
Look at his dopey ass. Look at that face.
Yeah, I despise his costume. I always have. Havoc's helmet costume is
so dumb.
Absolute trash.
Yeah.
It defies the laws. It doesn't necessarily defy the laws of physics. It defies the laws of any kind of taste. Good or bad, just taste.
But yeah, it's basically just the whole second story is telling us that Havoc does anything and everything that Madeline Pryor tells him. So and the very last scene is her being like, "Prove you love me. Show much how much you love me." And he's just like making a dopey love face.
So this is barely fresh?
Yeah, I'd say barely fresh.
Barely fresh? Yeah.
Although I'm kind of curious to see where it goes because I do like the dark characters of the X-Folk, so I'm curious, but I don't know if I'm going to stick with it.
Well, I'm going to talk really quickly about something that I thought was fresh. Not very fresh,
Just fresh?
not barely fresh. Fresh.
Okay.
It is Scott Snyder presents Dark Spaces, the Hollywood special #1.
So,
or you
what's
could probably
Dark
just
Spaces?
say the Hollywood special. So Dark Spaces is a kind of an imprint that Scott Snyder, I guess, has at IDW. It was it's meant to be. The only other book that's had the same imprint was called Dark Spaces Wildfire.
Yeah.
Which was a short story about a bunch of female forest firefighters who get involved in a heist.
Oh. See, I didn't even know that. I thought it was just a story about firefighters. Like, I didn't realize it was a heist. I thought it was like, here's how firefighting works. You want to fight some fires?
It's a manual.
How
basically,
to.
he created a manual about how to fight forest fires. Yeah, absolutely. No, it was a heist. So it was that kind of like noir Dark Spaces. This is, I guess, the rules of Dark Spaces is anything kind of dark.
Okay, that tracks.
That has space.
Yeah.
Where the darkness is.
I
guess. I don't know. But either way, this is written by Jeremy Lambert. Or Lambert. I don't know. With art by Claire Rowe and colors by Jordi Belair.
Oh, Jordi's all over the joint.
Yeah. This was good.
Yeah.
So it's set in it seems as though the 1920s-ish?
Yeah.
Our main character, Miss Drake, something Drake, is sitting in a booze car on a USO-style tour to sell war bonds, reading and writing letters to her abandoned daughter, who's telling her to stop writing her. Just getting drunk. They finally get to their port, which is a town literally called Minersville in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
And they arrive, and there's no one there to greet them except a little girl asking for an autograph. And they're like, what's going on? Where's everyone? And she said, I promised I wouldn't tell. And then you find out actually everyone is over at the mine trying to dig out a bunch of miners, and it's collapsed. So the whole town is helping with this effort.
Oh.
The movie stars decide to take off their shoes and go help. And just things happen after that.
Mm-hmm. What's
Dead
the
bodies
vibes?
that talk.
Okay. Supernatural.
It's supernatural. Or a delusion of the main character. Either way, it's a creepiness afoot.
Mm-hmm.
This was... So I thought that this was a one-shot.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why. The word special was like,
special.
It's a one and done. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Usually.
So when it ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, I was like, oh. But it was pretty solid. And I loved the art. I loved this art. Claire Foy. It's a
good-looking book.
There's like hints of Raphael Albuquerque. There's hints of Stuart Immonen in some of the facial acting. Mm-hmm. The coloring is really good. Like, the art is awesome. So if you are into kind of nostalgic horror, yes, pick this up.
Nice.
Hollywood special, #1.
I'm going to read it.
Jeremy Lambert.
Lambert.
Sounds
fancier.
Jeremy.
Jeremy Lambert.
Was writing Buffy with Staples? Jordi Belair.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Jordi Belair was writing Buffy.
Jordi Belair was writing Buffy?
Wasn't
the
she?
colorist?
I gotta look it up. Here, check out the book.
Yeah, it looks great. I'm definitely gonna read this. The vibes kind of give me Lock and Key a little bit.
Yeah, like the
cover at least.
It's got some Lock and Key. Yeah, Jordi Belair. Jordi Belair was writing.
Oh, cool.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer for Boom Studios. It was wonderful. That was doing Dan Mora was on the art for the first handful of issues, and then towards the events, the Hellmouth event, Jeremy Lambert started co-writing and then taking over writing. So like he's in this kind of like noir horror-y vibbity vibes. It's fun. Yeah. This was fresh. As a blind buy. Yeah. So far 2 blind buys. Go for it. The Cull and Hollywood Special. Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. Let's wrap it up with the DC universe. We got 2 books. Batman Superman World's Finest #18 by Mark Waid and Moore? Travis Moore?
Right.
Travis Moore, you're right. With Tamara Bonvillain on colors. I miss Dan Mora. Anytime Dan Mora is not drawing this book, I miss it. That being said, Travis Moore is pretty solid. It's pretty.
I'm gonna qualify your complaint with I always miss Dan Mora.
That's right.
So
it could be anybody.
So I'm not gonna dig any
Mora.
book for not being Dan Mora because a lot of books are not Dan Mora. Does that make sense?
And I'm gonna ding all of those books for
because
they're not being Dan Mora. Yeah.
I feel like that is unfair.
This is The Secret Origin of the World's Finest Team. I am behind on this, but you were like, Jadles. Yeah. It's a jumping on point. Basically. It's an origin story. Just get on it. And I went, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, so like we just got a really, really good arc by Dan Mora about artificial intelligence and new Meso.
Oh, no.
You read some of that?
No. I'm still on the storyline about Metamorpho.
That's the same one.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like it turns.
Oh, so I'm not that far behind.
No, you're not. It starts with Metamorpho, and then it turns into artificial intelligence.
Oh, word.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's
okay.
Awesome. They are taking a break and doing like this little origin story. I think it's 2 issues long. Travis Moore has also done in between arcs. So in between the first and second arc, there was the date issue.
Oh, that was great.
Travis Moore.
It was Robin and Supergirl. Mm-hmm. That was awesome.
So like this is the book's pattern of big massive arc and by Dan Mora, and then Travis Moore comes in, does 1 or 2 issues, gives the man a break, stays within the visual style of the book. At least it is the visual style of the book.
Sure.
Naturally.
Okay.
It's not jarring, that's for damn sure. And you get a good little fun Mark Waid story.
Can I say my favorite part of this book is Batman's outfit?
Oh yeah,
I love it's the blue and the gray without the yellow oval. Although I love that yellow oval, but he's got the 1966 Batman cowl with the black in the front, and the rest is blue. It's so dumb.
It's a proto.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and the kind of big bad at the end of this issue, I was like, oh,
all right.
This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's an in-betweener.
Yeah.
It's not, if this wouldn't be the first issue of World's Finest they give anyone, but it's not a dropping off point. It's jumping on. And I will say after this arc, they're revisiting the Kingdom Come.
Oh, wonderful. Great. From the first story arc.
Oh, yeah.
With Dan Mora. Also, I believe the next issue is the number 19 is the
Nicolas Cage
issue? Nicolas Cage variant cover, which I'm very excited about. I believe I only ordered that cover.
Good.
For all the subscribers. Everyone's getting the Nicolas Cage cover. So yeah, this is if you've been wondering about Batman Superman by Mark Waid, this is a wonderful jumping on point. Number 18, get on it.
This is top 3 book that DC is publishing.
Yeah,
period.
For sure.
Yeah.
Night Terror's Superman, number 2.
Gotta have a Night Terror.
Just a wonderful. I was going to say surprise, but we read number 1 and we're delighted. So, Tom Riley, I don't understand why he's not drawing more stuff, unless maybe he doesn't want to, because I love this art so much. It's very much in the wheelhouse of Darwin Cook and Chris Samney, some of my favorite artists. And this was fun. I enjoyed every
100%.
Every page of this.
To me, this
was great.
This does more work than the Night Terror. So far, my favorite issues of Night Terrors have been Superman and Batman, not the actual mini.
No.
Have you up to date on the mini?
No.
I am.
I haven't read 3 yet.
It's solid. Like it's better than it needs to, but these are just wonderful. As far as the plot goes, there's a lot of it in here. A lot of it.
It's basically the super family sort of all jumping into the same dream together. They're somehow able to navigate their dreamscapes to join others.
I liked the stuff happening outside of their dreams. Like we find out why some people are asleep and some aren't, and then Joshua Williamson basically sets up how we're gonna wake people up, which is fine. This is a, as far as a tie-in issue to another event goes, it propels the plot and it doesn't seem useless. Right. Like a lot of these tie-ins are just like put a banner on it. And it doesn't move the plot of anything. Yeah. This actually moves the plot, and it's nice.
And it's so good looking. God damn. I mean, half the fun is the art.
We talked about this last time, but I think Tom Riley is doing the G.I. Joe book with Joshua Williamson, right?
Did I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think
that makes me happy.
He's doing Duke.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear. Now I'm even more excited because I didn't care about reading Duke. I don't care about Duke as a character.
I don't have much history of G.I. Joe in comics.
I was excited for
you do.
Cobra Commander, and I was excited for Transformers. No interest in Duke, even though I was going to read it. But now that I know Tom Riley's going to be drawing it, I'm actively excited for Duke.
That is the epitome of comic book fans. Like, I have no interest. I'm obviously going to read it, but I have no interest.
Yeah.
I'm obviously going to read it.
Yeah.
But I don't care.
This was pretty fresh.
This was pretty fresh.
Fresh.
Night Terrors is not as terrible as I was anticipating overall.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be
I mean, I do miss my normal books.
Yes.
But if they need time to catch up, okay, whatever.
Have you read like The Flash or Nightwing?
I have Nightwing. I haven't read it.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see if any other ones are worth jumping in on.
I think that's it.
We did it. Is there anything you're excited to read?
Well, I mean, I read a little extra. Oh, I will say that the issue 2 of Hawk Girl is pretty wonderful.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
We both enjoyed issue 1.
It's good stuff. Void Rivals has even more cameos and a pretty good twist at the end. Yeah,
I'm excited for Spider-Man 11.
What is that? Is that an actual Spider-Boy story?
Let's look real quick.
I want Spider-Boy stories.
Yes, it is.
I will take
lots of Spider-Boy.
I'll take that kid. I'll take that guy's issues 10 and 11 if you can find me 8 and 9. Are they still in print?
I don't know. I'll look for it. But yeah. Oh, also, John Romita Sr. passed away. And there's every Marvel
book. Yeah.
Every Marvel book starts off with 3 pages dedicated to John Romita Sr.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a light-ish week for me, and I think that we talked about some of the best books already for me that I was looking forward to reading. Oh, you know what? JD in his hand has this Dawn of DC Penguin Takes Flight, issue 0. So Tom King and Rafael de la Torre are releasing a new Penguin book. Yeah, in continuity, the Penguin. But it's based off of the continuity that is in this issue. So the first arc of Chip Zdarsky's Batman run had backups of... So
Catwoman?
It starts with the Penguin being killed by Batman. Erroneously. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But his lawyer, I do that with air quotes, asks Catwoman to find all of the heirs of Oswald Cobblepot because he spread a seed around.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like it's a story about finding the actual heir to the Oswald fortune.
Yeah.
And it's pretty dark and it's kind of good. And it's by Zdarsky. This 0 issue that comes out is just a recollection. It's a reprint of all of those backups together. So you're ready for the new Penguin series coming out.
So it's basically giving you the status quo of the Penguin.
It's a legitimate 0 issue.
Cool. Good.
So anybody that's interested in not reading the Batman proper book, get on it because it was actually a really, really good backup story with a couple of good plot twists.
Yeah, and I'm excited because I love me some Tom King these days.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Oh, tonight we're going to be talking about
Heart of Stone, a new movie on Netflix with Gal Gadot and I don't know, Jamie Dornan, other people. Now you're probably wondering like, why the hell are you bothering with this movie that dropped on Netflix? It's because it was the story by and written by Greg Rucka, who is a very famous, very well-regarded comic book writer and novelist.
And also did the movie
The Old Guard.
The Old Guard, which I very much liked. So, yeah, we're talking about that tonight on the live stream at 8 o'clock. Join us on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch, and we will talk at you later.
Do. Bye.
Might not work out all right.
Thank you for listening to the CultPop Network, home to podcasts, live shows, and a whole lot of fun stuff for every flavor of fan. Follow us wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to join us live every Wednesday night at youtube.com/CultPopGo at 8 p.m. Eastern. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we drop new Thunder Rounds and episodes of Fresh Floppies, a spoiler-free show about single-issue comics released each week. Until then, we'll talk at you later.